How the heck can a check engine light come on that the computer knows something's wrong with the thermostat? There's not even wires at the thermostat. How does it know that? Let's find out on this Miata. Let's get started.
Wizard, that is not a Miata. That is a Toyota MR2. That was my favorite car when I was in high school. I always wanted one.
It is an MR2, I was just joking. It's a very reliable car because it's a Toyota, but I want to show this to you guys today how this is different than your average Miata or small car, where the engine's up here because it's not on this car. And like Mrs. Wizard mentioned, when she was in high school, she always wanted an MR2. And just for giggles, you can head on over to Mrs. Wizard's channel, Mrs. Wizard's Ways. She's going to have a comparison video of her Porsche Boxster, the yellow one you guys have seen, and this MR2, what she thinks, because she always wanted one of these. So definitely a video to check out. There's a link in the description below. So it's here because the check engine light was on. And here's a picture of the code we found. It talks about thermostat performance. How in the hell does the computer know that? There are no wires monitoring the thermostat. It's a dumb piece of mechanical hardware. How does it know that? We're going to talk about that today and what other things we found wrong with this MR2. Let's take a look around this green beauty. Isn't it cute, Mrs. Wizard?
It is absolutely adorable. I love these cars.
It is a fun little car to drive around. The headlights are fairly clear. It's in really good shape. It's got a little over 70,000 miles on it. Mrs. Wizard will tell you the exact mileage in the interior review. But as we go down the side, you can see it has some nice wheels. I believe they're 15s. Let me check for you guys. Yes, 15s. As we come around to the back, you can see it has a functional side scoop, just like Mrs. Wizard's Boxster. That actually has air coming in and uses the air. It isn't fake. And around the back, it has really interesting taillights. They look really cool. And the paint is really like a June bug, Mrs. Wizard.
I guess you could call that, maybe it's emerald green.
Yeah, very, very iridescent type of a green. But as you can see, it's in very, very good shape. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the little interior.
Okay, ladies and gents, if I can get there. There we go. It has 76,694 miles. And I like how there's a section for each part of our gauge cluster. We have 3 different sections there. So look at our dash. Looking good. Oh, we've got a baker's box. Let's go ahead and open that up. And we've got some reading glasses, a paper towel, utility knife, you know, everything you need in your baker's box. Because whatever you put in there is going to get absolutely baked, especially with a black dash. Whew. But everything is in good condition. Nothing is broken. Everything is great. Very easy to read. HVAC system there. Very, very simple. We have a very nice radio there as well. And cup holder. Now I like how the cup holder is placed here because it is not going to spill onto anything important underneath, which we have seen recently in that Mercedes video. Here's what makes it fun. It is a 5-speed manual transmission, like the nice kind of baseball stitching going around there. Looks nice. As we move back, we do have our e-brake, we have our controls for our window, and we have a very small little cup holder here as well. The seats are a caramel brown, and they're in good condition. Nothing is broken. The stitches are all in nice shape. We also have some of that caramel leather on that door panel as well, but we can see a little bit of that has been pushed out, so we might need to push that back in and maybe add a little glue behind that as well. Let's go ahead and check out what's in our glove box today. We have a spot there to turn off our passenger airbag, and we have the owner's manual as well. So nice addition. It's a 2-seater. There's no other spot. There's no other spot for anybody else back there. There's nothing there. There's just a little panel there that you can hold stuff, kind of like a glove box in the back seat, but that is it. There's no pretend of a little shelf seat. That's all you got. We do have a small shelf there that you could put a few items. But our headliner, well, which is our convertible top, is looking good. I don't see any light shining through as well, so that means no holes in the top. As we get to our steering wheel, this is a Toyota from the early 2000s. They didn't put buttons on the steering wheel back then, which is kind of nice so you can focus on driving because you've got one hand on the steering wheel and one hand on the stick shift. You are not having time to push buttons up here on the steering wheel as well. So, enough of this interior talk. If you want to hear more, make sure you check out my video. But let's go ahead and check out this engine.
So this is what makes it different than your typical Miata or small size car. We would think we're going into the trunk right now. We're actually going to take a look at the engine. This is our little 1.8 liter VVTi 16 valve inline 4-cylinder. It's arranged like a front wheel drive car. It just happens to be in the back of the car with a sideways orientation. These are pretty fun to drive. They don't have tons of power, but as you can see, it's very easy to work on, easy to get around it and do repairs. So a lot of people have seen MR2s. Maybe you didn't know the engine's in the back. Now you do. So I mentioned that it had a check engine light on. It actually had this code here, which shows cooling system performance or thermostat issue. It's basically saying the thermostat is stuck open. And how does it know that? I'll show you the old one here in a minute, but how does it know that the thermostat has an issue? There's nothing connected to it. Let me go grab the old one and show it to you. So here's the old thermostat. As you can see, there are no wires. There's no electronics here. How does it know what's wrong with this thing? The computer monitors the engine temperature when it's on a cold start. It should warm up in a certain amount of time. If a long time has passed and the temperature is still below the threshold of what it's looking for, it knows that there's a thermostat problem. It's basically like an algorithm. It figures out this data, that data, puts 2 and 2 together and says, oh, the thermostat must be bad. That's basically all it does. And it was right. Let's take a look. This should be completely closed. And I can shine a light through and blind you guys through the camera here. It will not close all the way. So this thing was not closing and sealing all the way, which took longer for the engine to warm up. And the computer noticed that. And then it did something else that's annoying. Turned on the check engine light. That's why it's here. But while it was here, we found some other issues I'm going to talk about. This customer had told us something when he arrived. He mentioned that he is deaf. He could feel that the idle was off. It was a little rough, the idle's a little high. And there's one thing about persons who have either their ears or different things about them that have been compromised, that they have heightened senses in other areas. And when someone who has mentioned that they're deaf, and they say they can feel this or that, I know I'm onto something, because they can sense and feel stuff that you and I cannot sense and feel if they have heightened senses. And he was absolutely right. Junior Mint took a look around the engine and saw the valve cover was just puking out oil all along the side. Here's our old gasket. It's just hard plastic now. It's not even sealing anything. So I'll yeet that off camera for you guys. Yeet! You heard that? Hard plastic. So if oil's getting out, that means it's a vacuum leak. Air's getting in. It's not a sealed PCV system anymore. Unchecked air is getting through the PCV system and into the intake and then into the engine. That can cause idle issues, rough idle. He was absolutely onto something there. We got a new valve cover gasket on, and the idle went down a little bit. And obviously it's not leaking oil anymore. Now let me get this thing on the lift and show you the thermostat was not fun to do. All right, well, let's check the engine for any leaks. Oh, that's right. It's not up here. It's in the back, but I will show you there's a radiator here. You can see the fans and the radiator. Everything's nice and dry in there, nothing going on. Our brakes look to be about 80% remaining or more. Sway bar links are good, struts are good. Everything looks good there. Brakes are good, sway bar link is good, strut is good. Everything looks good there. Here's our spare tire. It's up in the front area. And just like Mrs. Wizard's Porsche Boxster, they run coolant hoses and AC lines and everything down the center of the car. They just don't cover them on the Toyota with sheets of metal or plastic. It's kind of out in the open, which is nice, because if you have to do any repairs on them, they're all right there, easy to get to. All these lines go back to the engine. Here's our fuel tank. And then we have this sheet here. You can kind of see a radiator hose up behind the AC compressor. Yeah, that's where the thermostat lives. So on some cars, it can be a 15-minute job to do a thermostat, but on this one, it was a lot more time. I had to kind of dislodge the AC compressor enough to get the thermostat housing off, and it wasn't as fun as a lot of the thermostats I've done, but let's continue our inspection. Brakes are good, CV boot is good. Sway bar link is good. Transaxle looks fine. Like I mentioned, it's front wheel drive. It just happens to be in the rear. Same kind of a setup. We're going to clean off the bottom of this where the valve cover was leaking. That's all from the valve cover. Our brake is good over here. CV boot is good. Strut is not blown. Sway bar link is good. So yeah, not too bad. It's such a small little car, I haven't even reached the end of the lift. But here's our little single exhaust outlet. Everything else looks fine. Let's get this thing on the ground. But Junior Mint has a keen eye. When he finished up the valve cover job and also did the thermostat job, it was happy, everything was good to go, but he kind of glanced over and saw the serpentine belt and he goes, oh, that don't look good. It's so old, the middle of it is actually starting to split down the middle, and nothing but cracks for days on this thing. That one's about to split in half right there. So those are things, if you just focus on only what the customer wants fixed and say, okay, we're done, get this thing out of here, on to the next car. This could have had a serpentine belt failure 2 or 3 months from now, and the guy would be like, didn't you check that while it was here? So we definitely check the cars out before they leave for any safety concerns or anything like that. Well, Mrs. Wizard, we got to work on one of your high school dream cars.
It's so cute. I haven't seen one of these in years.
It is really a cool little car. And again, check out Mrs. Wizard's Ways if you want to see a comparison between her Boxster and this MR2. But we got those 3 items fixed. The thermostat is replaced. The computer's happy now. We also got the valve cover gasket solved, which was 2 birds with 1 stone because it solved an oil leak and it also solved a vacuum leak. And the belt's been replaced. So this thing's ready to get back on the road. I definitely want to do a video for you guys showing you a cool little MR2, how the engine's in the back, and what we went through to get this thing solved for this customer. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on this MR2, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut if you purchase anything and really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button because more cars are coming in, which means more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.